Welcome to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast, a space where we break free from tradition, creating a wedding day totally authentic to you and your love story. I'm Abby, UK wedding planner and owner of Elegance Unlimited, here to help you plan a wedding day that feels uniquely yours. Join me for planning tips and advice, endless inspiration, and a pocket full of calm within the chaos that is wedding planning. Consider me a trusted friend, here to walk you through it all. From injecting fun splashes of personality into your day, to reinventing tradition completely, all whilst focused on building a day bespoke to your dreams and desires. I cannot wait to get started, so let's get planning. Hello, welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to the show. My name is Abby. If you are new here and you haven't yet met me or heard my voice, I'm a wedding planner in the UK, and thank you so much for joining the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast. I can imagine at this time of year, at the time of recording, it's December, and there's so many engagements happening. I can imagine there might be a few new ears around here soon listening, looking for some wedding tips and things. So welcome if you are new, and welcome if you're a bit of a veteran of the podcast. If you've been listening for a while, then thank you for joining. This is episode 50. We are almost at episode 52. I say every single week how much we're getting closer to like our anniversary episode, and which, by the way, I'm thinking I might do like a Q&A episode or like a top tips episode. But if you'd like a Q&A episode for episode 52, 1 year of Your Wedding Unlimited, please send me through some questions. I'm going to put some stuff on my socials and things, but just drop me a DM, drop me an email, drop me anything. And if I do decide to do that, I will add those questions in. And if I don't, then I will answer them anyway. I'll get back to you. So if you've got any questions you'd like answered, or a little bit of a topic or a story or something, send it my way for episode 52. We are 2 episodes away, my friends. Anyway, this is episode 50, like I said. And I've been toying around with some ideas for topics for episodes lately, being like, oh, it's that kind of time of year. What do people want to listen to right now? What's going to be the most beneficial wedding-wise to talk about in December? So I am seeing everywhere at the moment people that are getting married in 2026 saying, oh my God, it's only this many days away until I can finally say I'm getting married this year. Oh my gosh, my wedding is so soon. I'm about to be able to say that I'm getting married this year, all of this kind of stuff, right? And I thought, if I was planning my wedding right now and I was getting married in 2026, how would I be feeling? What would I be worrying about right now? And what would I be thinking that I need to be doing to prepare myself for my wedding next year? So that is what we're talking about on today's episode. I'm going to run you through, for 2026 couples, what you should be doing if your wedding is next year. And don't get me wrong, if you are listening to this later on in time, if it is 2026 and you're now listening to this and your wedding's in 2027, this will still apply, okay? This is essentially an episode for, oh my goodness, we're in the last month of the year, last couple of months of the year. My wedding is about to be next year. It's getting up so soon. What should I be doing? What should I be getting ready? How do I prepare myself to finally be in the year that I'm getting married? Okay, so that is what we are talking about today. We are going to get straight on into things. As always, you know I love a good rambly episode like this. Lots of tips, lots of advice, lots of wedding planner based insights included, as always. So we are going to get straight into things. But before we do, if you are not yet following, if you are not yet subscribed, if you've not yet given us a review, I would be so grateful. This is the perfect time of year to do it. I'm looking at all of my data for the end of the year. It's fantastic. I can't believe we've reached so many of you, but I would be so grateful. It helps more than you know on the back end of things. If you follow, it means you can come back every single Wednesday. You'll be notified when there's a new episode out. And if you give a rating, it will just make my heart so happy. So please, I would be so grateful. 5 stars only. I don't know if I've made that clear. We only accept 5-star reviews. If it's not 5 stars, don't bother. It's fine. Just don't worry about it. It's all good. Anyway, let's get on to the episode, shall we? So I love this time of year. As a wedding planner, and just seeing so many people being like, oh my God, there is this huge influx of engagements. Don't get me wrong, this is engagement season, right? But there is also this other side of wedding planning and wedding stuff where you are just constantly seeing people be like, oh my gosh, my wedding is soon. Oh my gosh, my wedding is about to be here. Oh my gosh, there's only 4 months till my wedding, only 6 months to my wedding. This time next year I'll be married. It's so exciting. And I love this part of wedding planning so, so much. So we're going to talk about it because I know that if it was me and I was coming up to the end of the year and I'd be thinking, oh my goodness, I've got 7 months to go, 6 months to go, however long to go. If you're having a spring wedding, a summer wedding, maybe a winter wedding, and you've got like a year to go, regardless, it's about to be your wedding year. So we need to talk about it. We need to get you prepped. We need to get some final things in place. We need to get a few things in motion. We need to just make sure we are ready. Okay. Because this is a big deal. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what all of the planning comes down to, is the wedding day. So we want to make sure we're getting ourselves into the swing of things. And it's almost that perfect time, right? Because you come to the end of the year and you're gearing up with like your New Year's resolutions. If you do those, you're coming into this period of like refresh and reset where it's January and everything kind of is slow, but things are about to pick up again. Like the year gets busy again from like post January, right? So we're coming up to this time this season where people are thinking about what they need to be doing. They need to be preparing. What do they want to achieve next year? And for a lot of you listening, that is going to be your wedding and getting married. So it's exciting. We're going to start off with that. Okay. This is such an exciting time. And I want you guys to just soak that in and to take a moment to be like, oh my God, our wedding is this year. You know, have a cheers at home with your partner, have a nice little date night to celebrate the last Christmas you'll have as being fiancés and not being married, because next year it's going to be different. All of these things, I want you to soak in all of that excitement because this is part of it, right? This is part of the process. This is what we're doing it for, to soak up all these moments of magic and savor these moments of joy and happiness, because this is what we're going to look back on. It's not just the wedding day. Okay, it's this whole process. How did you feel throughout the process? We want you to feel good. And this comes down to that too. So soak up this Christmas, however you celebrate, if you celebrate, soak up all of these memories together, your last winter, your last December. Maybe you've got birthdays or anniversaries for other things coming up where you can say, this is the last time we'll do this as fiancés, as not being married. On the flip side of that, I feel like alongside this excitement, there is this element of panic that can set in for some people when that year flips over, when it's suddenly like, it's January and you're like, oh my God, my wedding's this year. And suddenly it feels really real. It kind of sets in that it's actually happening. It's not just a dream that's a distant dream right now. It's actually happening. It's coming. And you know, as well as I know, how quickly time flies. The days are just going. They disappear. And 1 minute you'll be on the 1st, 2nd, of 3rd of January, just being like, oh gosh, we've just had Christmas, we're soaking up the new year, it's lovely, we're going to get into things. The next thing you know, we are 2-3 months down the line and you're like, where did the first quarter of the year go? It's disappeared. So you know as well as I do how quickly time flies. And of course, the panic is going to set in when you think about that and think, oh my gosh, we've really actually only got 4 months to go. Oh my gosh, we've really only got 6-7 months to go, however long. That doesn't, it might say it doesn't sound like that long. It might sound like a long time where you're like, yeah, we've got 8 months, ages. Actually, when the time flies, it's not that long. And I can completely understand why that panic sets in. It's this big mix of excitement and like, oh my God, now what? So firstly, I want to highlight that that's totally normal. Everyone will be feeling it to some degree or the other. And from a supplier's perspective, I completely get it. It's totally normal when, you know, I'll speak to my couples after Christmas. We'll have had a bit of time off. I have some time off. We come back in, have our first call together, and we're checking in. And I'm like, how was your Christmas? How are you doing? How are you feeling? And they're like, oh, we're panicking a bit because the wedding's this year and we've kind of just realized all the things we haven't done. And maybe we've been slacking with this, or this hasn't been done and we haven't managed to finalize this yet. And actually, we're really panicking. I get it all the time. Okay. So it's completely normal. It's human nature, right? If you care about something enough, it's going to make you panic and be excited in equal measures. Okay, so it's completely normal. Don't freak out. I wanted to highlight a bit in this episode this whole sense of normal as well in terms of timelines and where should you be at and all of these things. I remember when I started my business and started my journey to become a wedding planner, and all I would see when it came to wedding timelines and what you should have done when and all of these things was these very rigid, like, 12 months to go, you should have done this, this, and this. 8 months to go, you need to be doing this, this, and this. 7 months to go, you need to be doing this. 3 weeks to go, you should be doing this, this, and this now. And to a degree, I get it. Okay, there are certain things that you can't do until the week before, like going and getting your tan done, maybe getting your hair done, getting your nails done, picking up the dress, whatever it might be. And there's certain things that, yes, 12 to 18 to 24 months before, you should be getting sorted. You know, photographers get booked up quickly, venues get booked up quickly. There are certain things that you should be doing with enough time to spare, okay? But I don't want you to panic looking at all of these checklists and timelines that people are putting out there saying, oh, 8 months to go. Have you done this yet? If not, you're in trouble. I don't want you to panic looking at those, okay? Because there is always a solution. Okay, worst case scenario, you're thinking 8 months to go. We didn't book our photographer 12 to 18 months before like we should have done. Worst case scenario, you're maybe not going to get the photographers that get booked up really soon. You're maybe not going to get that person that you had potentially had your eye on for a while and you've just been putting off booking them or getting in touch, okay? That doesn't mean that every single supplier is booked up for your date. It doesn't. And there are still plenty of people. There's always someone that's free on your wedding date, okay? Of course, we still want to do our due diligence and make sure that they are a good supplier, make sure they suit our vibe, make sure they fit what we're looking for and all of those things. But please don't panic if you're like, oh, everyone said we should have booked this long ago and we haven't, so now we're in big trouble. You're not, okay? In fairness, I will say, if you haven't booked a photographer yet and you're coming into the year you're getting married, please do that. If your photos and having nice memories is important for you, I would prioritize that, because I think photography is important, videography, the ways you're capturing your day, I think that's important. And I also know that they do get booked up really quickly. So you want to start putting some feelers out and seeing who's available on your date, particularly if you are looking at a really kind of high, I was going to say high traffic, that's not the right word, like a busy wedding date, you know, peak summer, peak spring, those busy wedding dates, July, August, September. And listen, in general, if I were to say to you, this is where you should be at right now, if you're coming into the new year and your wedding is next year, it's going to be different for every single couple, right? Everyone's going to be at a different place because your wedding might be in February, in which case you should have pretty much everything done by now, okay? But if your wedding isn't until September or October, you've got so much more time. So everybody's going to be on a different timeline, depending how long you have to go. At this point, though, you should really have all of your big suppliers booked. And when I say big suppliers, I mean your venue, your catering, your photographer, like the big ones, okay, for like the big things. And in theory, you'd have some other suppliers booked as well. Maybe you've booked your DJ, maybe you've booked a band, you've booked your registrar. If you are getting married next year, by the way, and you haven't yet gotten your marriage license and you're wanting to do all of the legal stuff, that stuff needs to be done, okay? You can't do it until at least a year before you're getting married, but there is a cutoff of like 28 days before the wedding. That has to be done. So prioritize all of these kind of things. You need to be, here's what you're going to do, okay? I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's what you're going to do. If your wedding is next year, you are going to plan some time. You are going to sit down with your partner and you are going to have an evaluation Wedmin night. Okay. Now, I don't want you to panic when I say that, because it sounds really official and boring. Like we've got to have a meeting. We make it fun. Okay. This whole wedding process is what we make it. So what I want you to do is plan a Wedmin date night. They are date nights. These are memory making opportunities. You are planning your wedding together. It is exciting. It is fun. Okay. We make it fun. So I want you to sit down and just evaluate where you're at. Okay. And if you've been putting this off, if you've been thinking, oh, you know, this is the boring stuff, we don't want to do it. Sit down. What have we booked? What do we still need to book? What have we paid? What do we still need to pay? What have we not decided on yet? What have we still been weighing up? Do we want to go this kind of direction? Do we want to go this direction? Evaluate where you are at. You need to have a really clear picture of your entire wedding planning process, where things are at, what still needs doing, and you're just going to build yourself a checklist. Hopefully by this point you've decided on your method of planning, how you're tracking things, if it's a notebook, if it's a spreadsheet, if it's a document, if you've bought an official kind of wedding book, whatever it might be. You need to keep everything in there. You need to basically update yourselves with exactly where you guys are at. Okay, this is really important. Look over your budget. This is so important, because if we want to not overspend and we want to keep ourselves within the budget we've set, weddings are expensive, okay? You need to be on top of your budget. You need to understand every single expense that's gone out. Even if you've gone out and bought some tea lights and some candle holders for £10, put it in the budget, okay? Because it needs to be tracked. It's an expense, so track it, okay? But you just want to sit down, get a nice takeaway, cook a nice dinner, whatever you like to do. Sit down and just go over like, right, where are we at right now? What's been done? What do we not need to worry about until later down the line when we're doing our final check-ins? And what still needs real attention? What do we need to prioritize looking at? Okay. There will be things you cannot finalize until those final weeks or month or two before. So if your wedding is later on in the year, you might still need to finalize official guest lists because you might get cancellations and you're waiting for RSVPs, your meal choices, your seating plan, these kind of things, your playlists and music and things. They don't need to be done until later down the line. Okay, so don't panic about those things. I'm talking about the things where you're like, we don't want to miss out on this really good hairstylist that I've had my eye on. Let me get them booked in now before I lose the opportunity for them to do my date. What we are doing at this point is just giving ourselves a checklist of things that we need to be doing in the new year. Okay, so where you are at specifically as a couple is going to be different from one couple to the next. Ideally, if your wedding is January, February, March, you are just finalizing minor details at this point, and it's a very different timeline. If your wedding is spring onwards, then you've got time to be making final bookings, making final decisions on things, changing things, all of these kind of things. It's going to completely depend on how far away your wedding actually is. Okay. Now, there will be some things you need to prioritize in 2026, particularly early on in the year, because like I said, things will fly by. And don't just assume that you sending an email out to a supplier means that they're booked. Okay. You know, as well as I do, it takes time. You might email them, they might get back to you a day or two later. Maybe you've got a call booked in for the next week because that's the best time that worked for everyone and you're not available till then. And then maybe you've had this call and maybe you're speaking to someone else. So then that's later on in the week. So then a whole week's gone by at this point. And then you're waiting for quotes from them and then you're comparing quotes. And maybe you're going to sit down together at the end of the week and chat through those quotes and see which one suits you best. So there's 2 weeks gone by at this point. That's half a month gone. Okay. Before we've even booked someone and made a decision. So don't think that, oh, we've got time, we can reach out to someone at any point. Just get these cogs in motion, start reaching out to people. If you have remaining suppliers that need to be booked, contact people, okay? Just start getting information, start speaking to people, seeing who's available, because this is the thing as well. You could be like, okay, I've got 3 people I'm going to contact for makeup or for live illustration or for a DJ or something that we want to get booked, okay? I've got 3, there's fine. One of them will be free. What if they're all booked? What if they're not? Okay, so don't leave it, because if they are all booked, you've got to start that research process again to find someone that is available. Okay, so don't be putting things off. Okay, don't drag your feet on things. And this kind of links to my next point on that you need to do the boring bits. Do the boring bits. Don't leave them and leave them and leave them, because the stress you'll feel when you've left it too long is so much worse than that kind of like, ugh, you'll feel doing those boring bits. Not every part of wedding planning is fun. Reading the contracts, not fun. Paying the money, not fun. Doing the research and the things, that might not be your thing. Maybe not fun, okay? But you need to do the boring bits, because this is how everything comes together. If you really don't want to do it, get someone to come in and do it for you. Get yourself a planner to do some partial planning. Get yourself a coordinator. Ask your friends and family to help, whatever it needs to be, for someone to kind of give you that kick up the bum, to be like, come on, we've got things to do. But do the boring bits, get them ticked off. Don't leave all of these open loops of things that you've half started and not finished, because then they just become bigger and bigger and bigger. And suddenly you're like, oh, I've reached out to this person, but I haven't finished that yet. I need to get back to them. And I kind of started looking into this. I've got some options, but I need to reach out to them. And oh, they were waiting for me to get back to them to confirm this before they send the contract. So don't do that. Okay, just pick 1 or 2 things, close them, finalize those tasks, and then move on to the next. Okay, this part of wedding planning, particularly when you come into, oh my God, our wedding is this year, can feel really overwhelming, and it can feel like a lot. So we want to make things as easy for ourselves as possible. Follow the same processes that I've talked about in previous episodes, where we are giving ourselves a couple of tasks to focus on at once. We're not overwhelming ourselves. We're not trying to do everything at once. We're taking it step by step. We're checking back in as a couple. Then we're moving on to the next. We're ticking things off. Is there anything that's open as a task that actually would be really easy to close? Is it a simple email I can send just to close this off and finalize this? Get it done. These are the things we put off, and then suddenly we've got 21 things to do. Our brain is overwhelmed and nothing gets done. Okay. So this time for evaluation and figuring out exactly where you're at is really important and can be a really good motivator as well. So try to use it that way. If there are any appointments you need to book, if there's anything you need to go and physically do, get those booked in. If you've got dress appointments, suit appointments, cake tastings, if you need to do hair and makeup trials, get those booked in. Even if they're not going to be for another month or 2, get them booked in so you know that it's like, okay, I might not have finalized this yet, but the appointment's booked in. And once I go to that appointment, then we can move on to the next and get that closed off. Okay. We are making our lives easy. We are moving through the process, and we're planning our dream wedding day. Okay, this should be fun. I know it doesn't always feel that way. I know it can feel overwhelming, particularly when you're like, I just want to enjoy it now. Like, we're in the wedding year. I just want to have fun. I'm so over all of the planning stuff. Stick with it. Make yourself a really easy process to follow, and it will feel so much smoother. I promise you. This whole theme in general really is kind of just getting ahead of yourself, isn't it? So if you are DIYing anything, my next point, if you're making anything, if you're getting your crafty side on, you're making some signs, you're making your favors, maybe you're making your invitations or signage, menus, anything for the day, you're making something, get it done. Start that now and get it done. If you need to plan out a weekly kind of project plan as well, do that. I know that things like this always take longer than you think they're going to take. So you need to allow enough time for that. I did a wedding once where the couple wanted to make their own bunting and they were making pom-poms and things like that. And they started and they were like, we've made a few, and I'd kind of have calls with them and they'd show me where they were up to with it. But in the end, it ended up taking them so long per pom-pom that they were trying to make to then add to this. They were like, we need hundreds. And firstly, we're not going to get them done in time because we now just don't have enough time. We've completely underestimated how long this is going to take us to do. Secondly, we're not having fun anymore. Thirdly, it's actually going to cost us a lot more than it would have done if we'd just bought them in the first place. So this is another thing you need to think about. If you're setting yourself really high ambitions and expectations of this will be so fun and I want to make this, I get it, because everyone wants to put that little personal touch on their wedding day. But at a certain point, you need to think, okay, realistically, how much time in the week do I have to get these done? Is it one evening a week? Is that all I can kind of spare to doing DIY stuff? So really a couple of hours a week. How long does it take to make each thing? An hour. Okay, so really I'm only going to get 2 of these done each week. And if I need to make 100 of them, it's not going to happen. We haven't got enough time for that, okay? Because there's only a few hours a month that I can realistically get this done. Sometimes you need to dive into those details a little bit more to really figure out what time you have available, and don't make it more stressful for yourself. I know how much you want to put your stamp on your wedding day, make things, have it be fun. I get it. But at a certain point, you got to draw the line and be like, do you know what? This is not worth it. And just buy them. Buy them, hire them, don't do them at all, whatever the case may be. But evaluate if you've got any things like that, tasks that are on the list that you keep putting off, saying, yeah, we're going to make that, we're going to make that, we're going to make that. Are you? Or is it at this point better for you to actually hire someone to do it because it might end up being cheaper in the long run anyway, and it's going to save you time? Have a think if there's anything like that, particularly if you're like, oh, we've got 4 or 5 months to go. And ideally in that last month, those final few weeks go really quick. We want to be enjoying ourselves. We want to be chilling. We've got family coming down. I've got final appointments. You're doing extra things in those final few weeks anyway. You don't want to be like, oh, we've still got bunting to make. We've still got favors to make. We've still got menus and signage and all of these things to make. Don't stress yourselves out. Okay. We want this process to be smooth and relaxed. So start thinking ahead if there's anything you can just kind of flip the script on and do it a different way instead. Now, if you haven't done already, started a timeline and a schedule for your wedding day, start that now. You want to map out all of the day. I think I've done an episode on this. If I have, I'm pretty sure I have. I will leave it in the show notes below. I think we do need to do another one though, a bit of a deeper dive into planning your wedding schedule and the timings and the details and how to make it run smoothly. But regardless, if you haven't done a timeline yet, now is the time to do one. And you want to map out, as your day currently stands, what do we know is happening when? We know the ceremony's at this time. We know that, you know, the meal is planned for this time. We know that we want to cut the cake at this time, or evening guests are arriving at this time. And you want to fill in the gaps. Does this work? Actually, we don't have time to do this before this. You know, it starts getting things in motion, and it gets you thinking about things that you're like, oh, actually, we can't start makeup at 7 o'clock because we're not going to have enough time to get everyone done for our 12 o'clock ceremony. So we're actually going to have to start earlier at like 6:30, or, you know, it's things like that that get you thinking. And then you're like, okay, now I need to contact the hair and makeup artist to let them know, make sure they're okay with coming a bit earlier. And if they can't, then maybe we need to get an extra person to come to make sure that everyone's done on time. These are the things that kind of come to light when you start working through your wedding timeline, when you start planning the schedule and figuring out the exact times and specifics of things. You're able to fill in the gaps. And this is a really important thing that you want to be doing from now, essentially, as you go through to those final few months and weeks before your wedding. I would also as well be checking in with all of your suppliers. So we're coming into the year that you're getting married. Pop them an email just to check in and say, hey, my wedding's this year, as you know, is there anything I need to be doing now to be prepping? Are there any questions you have for them? Is there anything they need to know from you? Is there anything you need to get a move on with? Your suppliers might reach out to you before this anyway. They might kind of beat you to it and start that process. But it's a good time, I think, to check in with suppliers you've currently booked and just see if there's anything you need to be doing. Because there might be something that's not even on your list, on your radar, that you're going to need to do that might take up a bit of time that you haven't accounted for. So if you can plan ahead, get ahead of the game, check in, all of these good things, then I think that's a really good position to be in. This is a really good communication stage, actually. And, it doesn't just apply to if you've got a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator. If you have a florist, your venue you could check in with. If you know you want to go and do another venue walk around, maybe, and you want your planner to come with you, or someone was going to come with you to help you decide how you're going to do a certain piece of decor, you want to go to your venue again. Maybe you need to book in your food tasting, final meetings and appointments and things that you need to just get a move on. This is a really good time to check in with those suppliers and get these things in motion. Like I said, the weeks will fly by, the months will fly by, and then you'll be like, oh my gosh, we haven't done this. Now we've got to squeeze it in, and life gets busy as well. Okay, don't forget that you still have a life outside of wedding planning that is full time. That takes up your whole life. You will have family events and work things, and you might get sick, and all these things that just happen in life that might set you back a little bit. The more ahead of yourself you can get at the start of the year so that you're not stressing in those final few months is so, so important. I know it feels like, oh, we've got loads of time, it's fine. Yeah, you do. But in an ideal world, I would like you to have every single supplier booked at least 2 months before, so that from this point, you can just be doing the final loose end tying, right? You can just be sending that email to be like, can I just confirm this? Can I just double check this? Here's the playlist we've been working on. Here's our final numbers. Here's our meal choices. We've had all our RSVPs in. Here's the final numbers. All of these things. Can we make a final, last minute change on gold cutlery to silver? Things like that, okay, that you might be wanting to, like, these are the little things I want you to be focusing on or thinking about in those last couple of months, not, oh my gosh, we still need to craft all this stuff. Oh my gosh, we still need to book these suppliers. Oh my gosh, we haven't done this, this, and this. Don't do that, please. Don't do that. Okay, make your life simple, make your life easy, and get ahead of yourself. Even if it feels boring, just do it. Like I've said, there are some things that can wait, so you don't need to stress about everything in the moment. You want to be figuring out what's a real priority to get done, what's important to get done in these moments. Things like your seating plan, little decor details, these can all wait until last minute. And when I say last minute, I mean like the final couple of weeks. You will always get things that change up until the day before. I say to all my clients, like, we will plan your timeline, we will have everything in place. But if anything changes the day before, it changes. Things might change on the day. Like, that's just the way it goes. But we want to be as prepared as we can and have this set in place so that if something does change, it's as simple as going onto our spreadsheet or going onto our timeline and just adjusting the time or adding an extra note in there about something that's happening. Okay, we're not like, oh my gosh, well, this has changed and we actually don't know how it affects the day because we haven't done our timeline yet. We want to have all these things in place already. So things like this can wait, seating plans, favors, final playlists, final menu choices. These might be adjusting up until a couple of months before. Though your kind of beauty schedule might change, like the order that people are going in. As long as you've got your timings there and we need to start at this time because we need to be finished by this time latest, the things within these spaces can change, okay? It can flex. The same way like the running of your drinks reception can change. Things can change on what happens in that period of time, because you can say, well, it's going from 2:30 until 4:30. So we've got 2 hours. What happens in those 2 hours can flex and change as long as you've got that set structure to work within. The timings, okay? Then it's absolutely fine. Now, as well as all of these to-dos and things that you want to get ticked off your list and get sorted, I want to acknowledge the emotional shift that happens at this time as well. It's exciting. It's scary. You might feel a bit overwhelmed, okay? You're in that official countdown and you'll have people around you going, oh, you're getting married this year. Oh, this many months to go. It's coming. It's coming really soon. That's normal, okay? Feeling overwhelmed is so, so normal, okay? But it's how we manage that. And what I want you to not do is spiral. I want you to be like, okay, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I'm feeling a certain way, but it's okay because I know that I've got things under control. Suppliers are booked. Things are happening. I just need to do these final check-ins. I just need to do these final tying up of loose ends. I just need to pick up my dress, and that's organized. It's arranged. So sometimes putting things into perspective can really, really help. One really common thing that can happen as well when it comes closer to your wedding day is this comparison trap. This whole, am I doing enough? My wedding's not going to look like theirs, or some new trend comes out, or something amazing comes out that you haven't seen before. It's always going to happen because you've not seen every wedding idea, every wedding trend. Something will come out and you'll think, oh gosh, should we be doing that? Oh, I would have loved to do that. Now we don't have time to. You start comparing and you start thinking, oh, well, we haven't done this and ours isn't good enough as this. And should we have done more in this? And are people going to think this is good enough? We're not doing that. Okay. We are not doing that. This is your wedding day. It is perfect for you. If you've made decisions that serve you and not other people, it is perfect for you. Okay. You're going to have the most amazing wedding day. If you are struggling with comparison, I've done an episode on that. So go and listen to that one. I will leave it in the show notes as well. I understand though this panic because there's so much pressure when it comes to weddings, and they should be done a certain way and they should be amazing and everything now needs to be bigger and better and a performance, and we're showing things in this way and this needs to look amazing because you don't want the judgment of someone coming along to be like, oh, I wouldn't have done it like that. Okay, well, it's not their wedding. Don't worry about what they're thinking, okay? Someone's always going to have a snotty opinion and something that's just like, oh, in an ideal world, 90% of the time, they're not even telling you. It will never come back to you. You'll never know unless they've told someone that's told someone that's told you. Oh, so-and-so said they didn't like the chicken for a starter. Who cares? Okay, it's a free meal. They can shut up and get on with it. It's a nice day out for them. This is your wedding day. I don't want you to fall into this comparison trap of feeling like we need to please everyone. Everyone needs to be happy and we need to do things to serve other people and make it so that they're going to think our wedding day is the best wedding they've ever been to. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And it's so easy to say when you're not physically in it. I know that you guys planning your weddings right now are going to be like, oh, it's not that easy. Like there's so much pressure. I get it. I do. But I need you to hold on to this mantra throughout the rest of your wedding planning. This is your wedding day. The only opinions that matter are yours and your partner's. The only opinions that matter. The only people you need to please are yourselves, because wedding regrets will gut you. They will be so sad if you come out of the other side of your wedding day thinking, oh, I really wish we'd done it our way. Because actually, we were worried about mum making a comment or kicking off. And actually, she kicked off about something else anyway that we hadn't even thought about. So she was always going to kick off. We should have just done it the way we wanted to, because then we'd have been happy, right? Please, 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 if you take nothing else from this episode, please do your wedding your way. It's so important. And it makes me so sad when I see people in my comments and people posting videos about how they feel like they can't do things a certain way because someone's going to be upset or judge them, or it's not tradition and they're feeling pressure to do things the traditional way. We're not doing that around here. We're not doing that, okay? Family pressure is tough when it comes to weddings. I think this is very much me being like, I've done an episode on that. Listen, we've got 50 episodes under our belt now. I've talked about a lot of things. We did an episode recently where I talked about family pressure and expectations, managing all of those things. If you are struggling with any of that and your family feeling like you have to do things a certain way and how do you keep people happy and all of these things, then please go and listen to that episode. It's only a couple of episodes back. It might even be last week's. No, it wasn't. It was a couple of episodes back. Go and have a look at that. I will leave it in the show notes as well. Families are tough when it comes to wedding days, okay? Emotions are high. People get weird. People get weird when it comes to weddings. But what I want you to remember is that this is your day, okay? We're doing it to serve you. And that's the only thing that matters. Honestly, my outlook on things is if you upset a couple of people on the way over a few minor things, we're not actively going out of our way to offend people or upset people, but it's going to happen regardless. Even if they never tell you, someone's going to sit there and think, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Who cares? Who cares? It will likely be some outdated view on a wedding tradition that just doesn't really serve anymore, doesn't really get used anymore. If you've had an amazing day, that is the only thing that matters. Okay, so I want you to try and separate yourselves from that. And sometimes that means just kind of retreating into your own little bubble a bit, and saying to people like, everything's booked now, it's all good, we're just in the final stretch. You don't need to tell people that you're still making decisions on a couple of things, or that you still haven't decided on the seating plan and actually is Auntie Sue going to be on the same table as her sister because they don't get on, and the cousins and all these things. You don't need to tell people that. Just say, yeah, it's all sorted. Can't wait to see you on the day. Close the conversation. Leave it there. And if anyone kicks off on the day, It's not your problem. No one's going to bother you with that on the day, okay? They're just going to mutter and complain to themselves, amongst themselves, and hopefully no one's going to bother you with that. And by which point it's too late anyway, because it's done. And you've had a nice, peaceful planning process, and now you're having an amazing wedding day. So don't worry about those kind of things. Try and separate yourselves from that. Keep yourselves in your own little bubble. Enjoy these last few weeks or months of being engaged and this wedding planning process. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it, because as well, remember, once this is done, it's done. Okay. And then the wedding blues kick in. And that's a whole other thing to have to kind of work through, right? Enjoy the process. It's your wedding process. You are not going to do this again. So make the most of it and do it your way. Okay. Pace yourself. When you hear this whole, we're getting married this year, it can send you into a panic, but it doesn't mean that everything has to be done right now. This is why I've talked in this episode about setting yourself tasks, reevaluating, deciding on your timeline, what's a priority and what's not. Don't think that you have to get up on Monday morning and be like, right, everything needs doing. No, it doesn't. Prioritize what's most important, what's most kind of needs a deadline, and then focus on things from there, okay? Everything doesn't need to be done right this second. Breathe, take a minute. Even if you leave it a few days until you start doing things, that's fine, as long as you are getting things done. Alongside my evaluation and deciding what tasks need doing and where we're at with things and what still needs deciding and booking and finalizing and paying and all those things, alongside that, I would be having a bit of a reset in January, end of December, January time. I would be going through the emails. If you've got a separate wedding email, this will be really easy. You can go through the inbox and check that you've replied to everything, check that there's nothing that, no suppliers that haven't got back to you yet that you need to follow up with and say, hey, just checking in. You can pull all of your final payment dates together, put them in your calendar. You can get organized with that kind of stuff. You can pull your contracts into one place. You can be working on your timeline, like I said. If you're working with a planner or a coordinator, check in with them. Get the process moving with these final kind of schedules and timelines and dates. And if they can check in with anyone for you, this is a really great thing as well. If you've got a planner or a coordinator that can email your suppliers for you and say, hey, just checking, can I confirm this is the right information? Can I confirm you're arriving at this time? Can I confirm your meal choice if they're having a meal on the day, if they're a supplier that's there for a long time? All of these things can be done for you. Reevaluate your vision as well. Check over your vision for the day. Is everything still in place for how we want things to look and feel? The colors, the textures, the vibe. Is every decision we're making still matching that? And let's refresh ourselves on what our vision for the day is, so that any decisions we make going forward are still going to match that and are still going to feel really cohesive and matching the vibe. Okay. We're just kind of having a little mini reset. It's a perfect time of year to do it. You can list any questions you have, because you might come to this point doing an evaluation of your wedman and be like, oh my gosh, I've now got loads of questions to ask. Just write them all down. Make a note of all the questions you need to ask. You can categorize them by supplier if you think that might help you. I know my type A brain is just going, oh, and I could highlight it and I could do this and I can have tick boxes. That's just the way my brain works. You don't need to be as type A as that. But just pull together a list of questions that you can start working through and making sure you're getting answered in the next coming months to make sure that we're on track for things. Okay. And if there's anything you're like, oh, yeah, we haven't asked that yet, let's note it down. It might get answered for you in the next time you speak to your supplier. If it doesn't, you can make sure to ask it. So we're just getting ourselves back on track, getting ourselves in a good headspace to get planning over the next kind of coming months. Please, 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 alongside all of this, remember to find the balance. I don't want you spending the next however many months of this year, of 2026 or 2027, 28, whenever you're listening to this episode, I don't want you to spend the next coming weeks just constantly in wedding planning mode. Okay. You need balance. You need time off. You need date nights that aren't talking about the wedding. This needs to continue. Okay. As much as your wedding is the most amazing thing ever, you don't want to eat, sleep, breathe your wedding. You need balance. Otherwise the overwhelm becomes too much. Okay. And we want you to be looking after yourself. We want you to be sleeping regularly enough. We want good wellness. We want nice health. And, I don't want you going off the bandwagon, becoming so busy that you're like, we don't even have time to cook anymore. Everything is just like, we've got no motivation to do anything because the wedding is taking over. We've just been getting loads of takeaways and processed food. And actually now my skin's not looking as bright and glowy and I'm breaking out because I've not been looking after myself. Okay. And of course, your wedding is not about the way you look, but I know that a lot of you listening are going to be coming up to your wedding thinking, I want to be the best version of myself for my wedding day. I want to feel energized and look amazing. I want my skin to be clear. We need to be sleeping enough. We need to be drinking enough water. We need enough balance and rest and, fresh air, and not just wedding planning, wedding planning, wedding planning. Okay. Take breaks, take days off, take weekends off. Okay. This is why getting ahead of yourself early is going to help you in the long run, because you don't need to spend your entire life thinking about wedding stuff. Okay. Find time to spend with your partner, just chilling, watching a film, going out and doing your favorite thing, having a nice date night, date day, whatever you want to do. Walk the dog. It's my dog now, waking up to come say hi. Hi, Enzo. Hello. I know. All of these things are really important when it comes to wedding planning. Okay. So balance is key. And this emotional preparation matters so much. I say it all the time, but the way your wedding planning process goes affects your wedding day. Nobody has a super stressful, anxiety inducing wedding planning process and then gets to the wedding day and goes, oh, I'm so relaxed. You carry it through. Okay. So we want to be starting as we mean to go on, finding balance, finding emotional balance and tranquility as much as possible. I know that life happens, it's not always possible, but find the ways to keep yourself stress-free and calm and in control, because it makes such a difference. Finally, I want to remind you that you are not behind. You are not underprepared. You are just, and nothing really changes when the clock strikes 12 on New Year's Eve, apart from saying, oh my gosh, we're getting married this year now. It can feel like a huge momentous thing, and it is to a degree, but nothing really changes except a minute has gone by. Okay. So you are still the same amount of prepared or underprepared, depending on where you're at, as you were in 2025. Okay. All that matters is how we continue this process and how we continue to go on, making sure we are organized, making sure we're keeping track of things and not ignoring things and leaving them until the last minute and then going, oh gosh, I really shouldn't have left this long. You are, yes, stepping into your wedding year. So take a breath, enjoy it, soak up that moment, be excited, but you're not behind now just because it's 2026. Okay. You're still the same amount of organized and prepared you were a week ago, a day ago, whatever. Okay. If the overwhelm gets too much, I am going to say this here, get some help. If you need a planner to come on, you don't just need to hire a wedding planner at the start of the process. You can hire a wedding planner whenever you like through that process, okay? Even if a wedding planner, like myself, I know I do, has packages for this is my full planning, this is my coordination package, whatever it might be. If you go to a planner and say, we need this, but we need a bit extra, they are always going to help and cater to you with that. So if you need some extra help and support, some partial planning, you want some calls just to talk things through with someone, contact someone. And listen, if you are listening to this podcast still, I've been recording for 47 minutes now. I don't know how much of it will make it in, but you've been listening for quite a while, okay? So you must not mind the sound of my voice. You must think that my advice is okay. So if you want to reach out to a planner, whether you're honestly in the UK or not, I've recently taken on a couple. I don't know if they'll be listening. They are in Nashville, Tennessee, okay? We are doing virtual planning for them and I'm talking them through things. We're having meetings, making the time zones work. It can work. Okay. So if you need some help, don't be scared. You can always decide later on you don't want the planner. Obviously not once you've booked them. You've got to kind of see that through. But you can have a consultation, see if it might be the right fit, ask the questions. Is it something that's actually going to help and benefit you? If you want to reach out to me for a free consultation, all of my consultations are free. We can chat through, see if there's a package that suits you, see how I can help you, then please do. All of the links to that are in the show notes. But I want you to just feel good about this year, feel good about these final steps of wedding planning, okay? It's important that you enjoy it, that you feel prepared and that you feel calm. Okay, and this podcast might help you as well. If you're listening, if this is the first episode you're listening to of the podcast, go back and listen to some of the other episodes, okay? There is so much good stuff in there. I'm going to boost myself up and give myself a good pat on the back there. There is so much advice. We've covered so many topics this year so far. 50 episodes in, I've had some guests on, we've talked about photography, we've talked about celebrants, we've talked about balance and mindset and budget tips and all of these things, okay? Go and listen to some more episodes of the podcast. If you need a little mindset prep and kind of boost, I've done an episode on that as well, okay? There is so much in there that can help you. Don't feel overwhelmed. Just take a breather, have a nice bath and your favorite chocolate and just calm. It's going to be good and it's going to be amazing. And I am so, so excited for you. So with that being said, if you are about to go into 2026 and be able to say, we are getting married this year, congratulations, enjoy the final steps of planning. And yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for listening. episode 50 in the bag. We've got 2 more to go until we've hit 52. I'm not finishing when I hit 52, by the way. It just means we've done a year. I'm going to keep going. I've got so many plans for this podcast. I'm so excited. New episodes are released every Wednesday if you don't know that by now. Like I said earlier, please follow, please subscribe, give us a nice review. I will be back next Wednesday with another episode. Next Wednesday is going to be Christmas Eve as well. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. The next episode that comes out will be Christmas Eve. So I'm still releasing an episode. Don't think that I'm not just because it's Christmas period. I will be still releasing an episode. So come back next week. When everything else is slowing down, I'm carrying on with more wedding tips. I am so excited and I can't wait to speak to you then. So have a great week. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Your Wedding Unlimited podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired and excited to create your dream wedding day and those lasting memories. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I'll be back next Wednesday with more tips, advice, and inspiration. In the meantime, don't be a stranger. Come and find me on Instagram and TikTok at Your Wedding Unlimited, where I share even more wedding ideas and behind-the-scenes insights. You can also watch these episodes on YouTube at Your Wedding Unlimited. And if you're looking for even more support, come and join my private Facebook group, Your Wedding Unlimited. It's an amazing community of fun and authentic engaged couples, packed with extra tips, advice, and insights to guide you along your journey. If you have any questions or need more info, you can DM me or send me an email at yourweddingunlimitedpodcast@gmail.com. All links and details will be in the show notes. Until next time, happy planning!